Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole, hosted by two nationally published Atlanta interior designers, Joanne Kandrak and Kelly Cole. These energetic women are also world travelers, charity givers, and bloggers with a wealth of information to share and stories to tell about the interior design world. Okay, now just a warning, this is going to be fun and not too serious. After all, they still do have an interior design business running at full speed.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode number 40 of Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole. This is Joanne Kandrak, and today we're talking about a very exciting subject, the High Point Fall Market Trends for 2018. So, unfortunately, Kelly and I were unable to attend this market. And in several years of attending, we've only missed, I think, one or two.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's in April and October. So we've been going for years and years. So this time, since we weren't there to put our eyes on it, we decided to ask some of our designer friends, and even a vendor is going to weigh in on this, what they saw of what's ahead in the industry. A lot of the things that you see in the fall market won't actually hit retail, or you won't see these things for 6 to 9 months. So we have a real nice little head start on what's, coming down the pike. So when we go, we're sitting in things, we're visiting showrooms, we're finding new vendors, we're creating and maintaining the relationships we already have. We attend a lot of parties.
Yep.
We see a lot of our design friends, and mostly we become very, very inspired.
So we were psyched that we have, because we've been going so long, and it's really a fun time because so many of our designer colleagues and friends are across the country, and High Point is one of the times when we get to see them. And so it's quite the reunion. And so it was fun to call on them and say, hey guys, stand in for us and tell us what you learned this market. And of course, they were thrilled to share. And so we're going to talk about all the things that they told us that are new and coming down the pike for home design. And that we're going to talk about some individual styles. We're going to talk a lot about color, as usual. We're going to talk about kind of what's out there for case goods. Case goods are tables, chairs, or lamps, not lamps, but the hard stuff, the wood, harder stuff, upholstery, metals, which have come around, are still around, wood, and then color combinations, and also wood-metal combinations. So we've got a lot of good friends coming down the pike.
Some great contributors. So I'll just give you the quick little list.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Scruggs, who's in Tennessee. Linda Holt in Massachusetts. Robin Barbaree, he's a vendor, and he's here in Georgia. Christy Davis, designer in South Carolina. Carla Aston, she is in Texas. And Jeffrey Johnson in California. So we kind of have some, coast-to-coast kind of stuff. And, we probably should have gotten some info on a international person, because people come from all over the world
to
this show.
They really do. And what's interesting is you'll see they overlap a little bit, all of them, which is nice, because it's the one thing I really love about High Point is I think the trends are very apparent. Like we never leave High Point and go, what did we see this time? It's obvious.
And what's interesting is all of them, even though they're not saying a lot of the exact stuff, you will see that there are 2 or 3 things that were in every showroom. Mm-hmm. So the stuff is coming down the pike for sure.
Yep. All right, so let's start with our friend Elizabeth Scruggs and see what she has to say for us.
Hey, Kelly and Joanne. It's Elizabeth Scruggs with Superior Construction and Design in Lebanon, Tennessee. And thank y'all so much for having me on the podcast. So we're talking trends today from High Point Market, and really missed y'all being there this year, but I know I'll see y'all in the spring. So anyway, I'm sure you've heard the big story at market was green. Green was everywhere. And not just your basic green, more toward an emerald or jewel-toned green, leaning toward the blue side. And there were several variations of it. It varied in hue from teal to almost an emerald green, but just beautiful and vibrant color. So that was very exciting. Also, lots of warmth. And, we knew this was coming. We've been expecting it, but just warmer tones coming back. So in that, I saw a lot of wood pieces, and we live here in the South, so we still kind of have that call and that need for traditional type wood and warm pieces. At least I do here in Tennessee. And I'm sure y'all do too in Atlanta. So a lot of warmth coming back. In fact, in Universal's showroom, they have a new line coming out in spring of next year called Traditions. And it was stunning. A lot of wood and just really updated look for traditional interiors. And with that warmth and wood, lots and lots of what I would call butterscotch leather, butterscotch in color, but lots of butterscotch kind of caramelly leather and seating, just a really, really pretty warm caramel color or butterscotch color leather. Saw lots of that. And floating concrete tops. Now, not real concrete, but, tops on case goods and pieces of that nature that had the look of a floating concrete finished top. Saw lots of that. And then one thing that I noticed in several of the showrooms, I really hadn't spoken to anybody else about this or heard anybody else say that they saw this, but was shagreen, the shagreen finish that mimics a shark skin. So I saw lots of that in Highland House and Universal. So I think that might be something that we see lots more of coming down the pike. Anyway, those are some of the top things I saw at market, and I really appreciate y'all having me on and hope to see you soon.
That was so good.
Great information. And let me just say this. We're going to be putting out a blog post when this airs. Because I had all of them send me some photos. So because this is so visual, you'll be able to see a lot of the pictures that they took there that will describe what we're talking about here.
Yeah. And so this is what you guys all as listeners need to do is, so you're going to hear all these trends coming from our friends. Now watch fashion and watch the designer magazines. I was just reading House Beautiful last night, and there's a whole section on rum. So the color rum, that caramelly color, that butterscotchy fall, yummy, warm color that Elizabeth is talking about. So you're going to see this kind of resonate and come back, and you'll be like, I wouldn't have noticed that if I hadn't listened to that.
And what's funny is that whole warmer thing that she's saying, when I went to the Sherwin-Williams, talking about the 2019 colors, totally. So all these industries kind of overlap, and this is how.
Well, I was going to say that very same thing when she said, we know this is coming. This was coming, and you might be saying, how the hell did she know? That was coming down the pike. Well, these color forecasters, Sherwin-Williams, Benjamin Moore, Pantone, this is why they do this, and they've done this research, and they know it's coming.
Yeah.
So then we see it trickling in fashion and in home decor.
This is so great. So our next designer is Linda Holt. Linda Holt is also a photographer. So, of course, the pictures that she sent us are really beautiful. So here's Linda from Massachusetts.
Hey, Joanne and Kelly. It's Linda Holt from Linda Holt Creative, and I am based in Boston. And I thank you for having me on your podcast today, sharing my thoughts from High Point. There were a few things that stood out to me, but I think number one is that their individual expression and individual style is the name of the game. Just like how varied we all are in this country, politically and in every other way, there is so many trends out there and so many styles that I think there are now trends within the trends. But if I had to pick maybe three things that really stood out to me that was sort of overall at market, here we go. Number one, color. I think I saw more color this market than I have in years past. Denim blue was very popular. Dark sort of foresty greens were really popular. Blue and orange is sort of what I have heard is the new emerging color combination. But the surprise of the show was bright citron yellow. Almost every showroom had some pieces in this fresh, bold color. It was very exciting. I love yellow, so that was great. As far as case goods have really become statement pieces. They are beautifully made. I'm seeing lots of decorative finishes, marquetry, heavily textured, carved fronts. Some of them were painted. Some of them were, whitewashed woods, kind of across the board. But the case goods have really upped their game. Number three, upholstery. Straight lines and sort of boxy furniture seem to be out. Curvy, sexy, feminine lines are in. Curved sofas, rounded arms, turned legs, all over market. So that'll be an interesting trend to see if that kind of lasts. So thank you for having me on the show.
That was so good, Linda. I love how crystal clear her voice was.
Yeah.
I love that she mentioned individual style, because I'm sitting here thinking people are listening going, oh my God, I just did a farmhouse design, or I just got contemporary, and I just did aqua green, and now you're telling me it's hunter green. Yeah. But I think what matters is that your house is your home, and it is individual. And so I really like, as long as your home is designed in a way that you love and makes you happy, then all these trends are just kind of information that you can filter as you wish.
It doesn't mean that you're going to walk into a showroom and every sofa is going to be curved.
Yeah.
So there are certain people who like to kind of stay ahead of the trends, or they're into the trendy thing. We walk into homes that have curvy sofas that are just as pretty. If they're well done and the quality is good, you don't really have to follow these trends, but it was
what I love about what she said about the case goods being so much more interesting and artisan-like is that, since those beautiful antiques that you and I love, that we like to mix into our designs, are kind of not the trend, and you don't see them in a lot of houses as much as we used to, it's nice to at least see some quality case goods that maybe, I don't want to say will take the place of a beautiful antique, but, are along that line.
Some of the warmer woods. So if you have a couple of beautiful antique pieces,
mix it in.
You'll be on trend.
Yeah, don't get rid of them, for sure.
Okay, who's next?
Oh, we have Robin Barbaree. And Robin is one of our reps, and we adore him. He is our rep for Left Bank Art and many other manufacturers that we purchase from, and he's just the greatest guy. And so he's always, willing to give us his
actually,
opinion.
he talks about a subject that's real interesting. You'll see.
All right, here we go.
Hi, this is Robin Barbaree, and I am the owner of Orange Marketing Group out of Georgia. We are a multi-line vendor representative of vendors, and I'm here to share some of my feelings of the past High Point market. One of the largest and biggest trends that I saw was color. It was everywhere. And it was exciting to see the looks on the customers' faces in regard to the recognition of color, and that their acceptance of color is back in a large way. So I was really thrilled of seeing this. Sure, the neutrals will still always be available, but just to see color in furniture and accessories and lighting, and also along with the color were the textures. It looks to me like the vendors are getting very creative in making sure that not only is the color first and foremost, but there's texture along with it. The market was a wonderful time. It's always great to see the new introductions by many of our vendors. One of the questions that was most asked during High Point Market was how are prices going to change with the upcoming tariffs. And with one of my vendors, which is Left Bank Art, I am here to tell you that because it's a made-in-the-USA product, there will be no tariff increases. And there were other companies that I represent that are just absorbing the cost where they can. Not every one of the items will see a price increase. So it was very positive. The customers were very upbeat. They were looking for all of the new items that all of the vendors had opportunity to represent and showcase during High Point Market. Thank you for letting me be a part of this. I enjoy the ladies of Kendrick and Cole and what they're doing for our industry. Have a wonderful day.
Oh, I just want to give him a big hug.
He's just the nicest guy. So he brought up the subject of these tariffs, and it affects some industries, and the furniture industry is one of them. And so we've been getting a lot of emails and letters from different vendors saying, we're not sure how this is going to play out, but there may be some price increases. But I think a lot of the vendors are either going to split or are actually going to absorb some of it, so that hopefully we don't see a huge change in the industry with, furniture pieces, really, really increasing in price. And the other thing he said about, you can kind of tell kind of the economy with the High Point Market.
Right. Yeah, you can always see
there's
how
a
the
lot
economy's
of
doing.
Yeah, the energy's really there. People are buying. I remember going back in 2009 and oh my God.
Or how about right after 9/11? Oh boy.
It was like nobody, like you can just tell, you can feel it. So it's very, it's very good to know that all that energy and excitement is there because that means things are good.
It is very reflective of how the industry is doing.
Yeah.
So we're always watching for that energy. So thank you, Robin. So next up is a good friend of ours, Christy Davis, and she is a designer in South Carolina.
Hi, Joanne. Hi, Kelly. Hi, everyone. I'm Christy Davis, and I'm an interior designer based out of Columbia, South Carolina. I recently returned from High Point Furniture Market and wanted to share with you a few trends I saw. The first one being curved lines. Many of the upholstery manufacturers introduced a lot of pieces that had curved shapes, whether it be on the backs or the sides. It was very refreshing, feminine, but modern at the same time. The second one is silver metals. We were seeing a lot of that in combination with wood and glass or just plain silver case good pieces made out of German silver. So that was another big trend. Gold is still popular, but silver is making its way back. The last two are two trends that the consumer might not be ready for, but it seems the industry is. The first one being a color trend. Gold and creams are making their way back. We've seen it being snuck in the past 2 seasons, but this season it was very prominent. So move over gray, gold and cream are coming back. And the last but not least is brown stained case good pieces with traditional designs. So that was another big comeback. Our manufacturers saying they were seeing a high increase in volume and desire for that. So I just wanted to thank you for listening and thank you, Joanne and Kelly, for having me.
Isn't that so interesting that traditional is coming back? I can't even believe it.
And the other thing,
it's good. It's all good.
Yeah. See, she said about the dark casewood pieces.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think too, that's funny how she mentioned the gold, and then Elizabeth mentioned that
yellow,
that buttery Scotch yellow. Yeah. So you're seeing it in different ways.
In different ways, but like she said, it's a twist. It's curvy and traditional, yet still a little modern.
But curvy can be modern.
Yeah, and so I love the mixing. We've talked about mixing everything for a long time, so I like it.
Okay, so next is a good friend of ours, a really great designer in Texas, and her name is Carla Aston.
Hi, Joanne and Kelly. It's nice to talk to you guys here. I love your podcast. I love what you're doing. Keep up the good work. This is Carla Aston. I'm an interior designer and design blogger in the Woodlands, Texas, which is a northern suburb of Houston. I have a blog called Designed with Carla Aston, and I have my business name, which is Aston Design Studio. So I just got back from High Point and I saw some kind of trending things that I'd love to share today. One of the things that I saw a lot of was caramel colored upholstery or kind of a saddle leather. I love that color of leather. It's like there was no brown leather that I could see. It was all this kind of warm, lighter color, which adds such a nice warmth, I think, to some of our gray interiors. And I was glad to see that kind of coming forth at market. Another thing I saw was the use of selenite and quartz a lot in some accessory products and also like on mirrors and even in lighting. And I've seen it before, but it seemed to be a little more prolific. And I just love that sort of white brightness that it brings to a space and also the natural element that it brings in. So that was real pretty also. Another thing that I saw was really curvy upholstery pieces and like sofas that had lots of curves and tub chairs, lots of tub chairs. So it's a little bit 80s inspired, I think. I was talking to Michelle Bradley. She's a designer / furniture manufacturer, Bradley Furniture, and she said that her whole line was sort of 80s inspired. And it really did sort of reflect that. After she mentioned that, I just kept seeing that everywhere. So maybe we're kind of going back a little bit to the 80s, and it was interesting to see. So look for more curvy furniture, I think, on the market coming up. Thanks very much for letting me call in here. And I love your podcast again. So keep up the good work, girls.
Curvy
See,
is the word.
This overlap, they're all saying the same thing. And we didn't, nobody knows, like Robin doesn't know. We talked to Christy and Christy doesn't know. We talked to Linda. And so it's pretty obvious what the trends were.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? I noticed this after 9/11 that I don't know if it has to do with like the political climate of our country and just kind of the unrest of our environment right now, but I feel like these warm trends come back when people start to nest, when people start to need that comfort and need
I guess
that.
you don't think about it in furnishings, but it's true.
It's
Your
true.
home,
I see it. It's happening
it's a
again.
psychological thing. It really is. It really is.
Yep.
Okay, so next is Jeffrey Johnson. He is from California. Let me just mention that Jeffrey was what's called a style spotter. They select about, 15 or 20 designers to go ahead and spot things that they find at market, and then all of these things can be found on Pinterest. So Jeffrey was a style spotter at this market.
Jeffrey Johnson, Jeffrey Design. I'm based in LA. The High Point Fall Market was a really, really exciting time for everyone that attended the market. I will say that I was quite impressed what they've come out in the fall market. I would love to share a couple of the things that I saw that I really like and I was really intrigued. My whole conscious effort when I go out looking, style spotting, a few things I think will be a trend for 2019. The first item I'd like to share with you is by the name of the company is Kara Cole. It's an arch support chair. It's made out of a stainless steel, acrylic arms, and it's kind of like a curved arm. It was just outstanding. It was just incredible. It was just a beautiful piece. And it had a metal base in champagne gold. And I try to think, wow, what a beautiful chair. It could fit in traditional, transitional, contemporary, and modern. So my whole focus in the market was trying to make sure that it applied to all style. And the second piece, which I really, really like, it was at the Stanley Furniture Company. And they had a simple bunting cocktail table. And it was made out of a sunrise finish, eucalyptus veneers, Volcas white marble, oxidized silver. And there were two tables. One was a little smaller than the other. And it was just quite outstanding. And it really can fit. Honestly, I think it could be perfect for indoor and outdoor. Probably, a covered outdoor, if you will. But I just really, really was intrigued by all the different elements, how they were able to collaborate and make a beautiful piece out of it. The third piece, it was actually a bed, a Coronado bed by Robert James Collection. And the wood is cobalt on walnut. And they had the aged brass finish. And it was just beautiful, very simple, but spoke in volumes. So, I would love to have that bed. It was just quite outstanding. Not only that, it's really what I would consider, even though I use that as a trend, by forcing it to be a iconic classic piece. So overall, it was a great market. I could not ask for anything better. I was just happy what I saw at the market. And I hope that for designers that want to go to High Point should go ahead and sign up and get registered and be ready for the spring market. Thank you so much for your time and have a wonderful week.
I think Jeffrey needs to get that bed. He loved
that bed. Yeah, he's another one of our friends. I just want to give him a big hug and kiss.
It's funny because a lot of people mentioned furniture, and that's really what the main focus of High Point Market is, because you can't see a lot of these furniture manufacturers are really just in High Point, but there's also showrooms that have the pillows and
the lighting and the lamps and the bedding and the art.
And there's so much of that, and we go to the markets, locally and stuff to see that. So I think people really focus more on the furniture because those are where the big introductions come in, and where
that's
the
where
big
the lead
changes.
time is.
Yes.
So they have to design, manufacture, export, import, whatever. And
there's nothing worse than, because a lot of times we'll go into a showroom, we'll see, a bunch of things.
Die for.
I'll be like, oh my God, when's that going to be available? That'll be shipping in July of next year.
Yeah, you're like, oh man, well, forget it. No, but it's nice to still see the trend. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, we put a lot. We'll put a lot of these photos on the blog, but we're also really updating our Pinterest pages that are going to show a lot of these trends and a lot of the
color forecasts as well. You'll see all those on our Pinterest board. We have a gazillion followers on Pinterest just organically, but we really we just know that people love it, and so we're really trying to put some time into that because we have time.
Yeah.
Sure. But anyway, so I hope you all enjoyed that. We'll be there in April, and just watch for all these things. You're going to see them coming down the pike in high end and in the mainstream categories. Yeah.
We have a couple seconds, so I have to tell you about something I heard on the way in this morning. Amazon is considering shipping manufactured homes. So I've been hearing a little bit more about this. You remember back in the, was it 50s that Sears, you could buy a manufactured home. Well, I guess there's a lot of talk about this right now. And so, the stuff is made on an assembly line. It's all packaged. And then they will deliver this to your lot. It's
in pieces?
In pieces. In bundles somehow.
Okay.
And so it's supposed to be 30% cheaper.
Oh, Lord,
and
Lord,
it also will be done quicker because, if they're going to do any work outside and the weather's not good, especially up north when you have really, So I can't wait to see this play out. Our industry,
Amazon's going to own the world in just about 2 seconds.
Changing so much.
Our industry is really, really, really changing, and we're going to be talking a lot about that in upcoming podcasts.
Well, one of the things too about High Point Market, I think, is what sets us apart from somebody going to purchase something online. We have seen these pieces in person. We have sat in these pieces. We can see the quality. Even if we never went to High Point, if we're looking at things in catalogs, they're not always what they seem. I have, ordered something online and the finish looks fine online, and then you get it and you're like, this is not as sleek as it looked in that photo. So we really rely on that so that our client is not surprised, and that when we're buying something, we have walked those showrooms. We have seen kind of what's happening. So I think as a business, it's a
there's still tremendous value.
Yeah.
And going to High Point and learning what we learn and having these relationships with these manufacturers. We talk a lot about it on the show. And, there's room for all of it in the marketplace. But, if you're that person that cares a lot about the quality and lifetime stuff and mixing high and low, then, stick with a good interior designer.
Stick with us.
Yeah, man. All right. Quotes. Which one you want?
I'll do the inspirational one today. Okay. Giving up on your goal because of one setback is like slashing your other 3 tires because one got flat. And
I need to tell this to my other daughter who's job searching right now, because she got a no this week and she's like, I'm sick of it. I'm done. I'm like, oh, girl, you got so many more no's coming. Like, just relax.
Yeah, it's true. Like when when you've set a goal, I mean, if you do, any, self-improvement reading and stuff, like you can't just stop. I mean,
well, that's
you got to go about it.
That's me with weight loss. Like I can't get on the scale. It sets me back.
You got to go you got to try something else. You've got to go a different way. So just because something didn't go your way, keep going. Try a different way.
Don't slash the other 3 tires. Just remember that. Okay, this funny quote, it so applies to me. Okay, ready? Oh, that sounded mean. I better add an LOL at the end. And it's not that I sound mean, but I'm always laughing or smiling when I'm talking. So I feel like when I'm texting, there's either a ha 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 or an LOL at the end of every one of my sentences. And my kids, who already think I'm queer because I put a period, I use grammar in texting and I use periods, and they think that's just so stupid. I always say LOL, and I'm sure they're like, Mom, God, you're so embarrassing. But I'm laughing. Well, I really am.
Yeah, I know that my other daughter, which I'll text her a lot for different business questions. And so I was trying to get onto the Google Analytics and I couldn't remember how to do it. And so I'm like, please remind me again. And then I played around for a couple minutes and then I said, NMV. Yeah. I figured it out. And she's probably going, never mind. She gets it.
Yeah. But you don't get it. It's actually NVM.
And I said MMV. See?
I'm
a loser.
But totally. So add an LOL at the end. That's just hilarious.
Well, I hope this was helpful. It was really helpful for us.
Yeah, it was fun.
And it was really fun. So, yeah, keep your eyes out on what's happening out there. And happy fall, everyone. It's finally getting cool here.
Yes. And be on the lookout for our next podcast. We will be helping everybody out for gift buying for the holidays.
Yes.
So,
okay.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Join Joanne and Kelly weekly for a lively conversation about trends, travels to industry events, current design projects, the good, the bad, and the ugly, do's and don'ts, product recommendations, and more. Be sure to follow the fun on Facebook. They're on Instagram at Kandrak Cole, and of course, you've got to visit them online at kandrak-cole.com for more information.